Hey everybody, welcome to the Rochester Press Box. I'm Tariq Spence filling in for Bill Pucko. Of course, Kevin Oklobzija joining us again this week. Good to have you back.
Great to be back.
A lot to get into this this sports week. Quite interesting. I love that. This is probably one of my favorite jerseys here.
This is my favorite jersey of all time. It's got my name on the back of it, right? The 96.
That's not why it's my favorite.
Well, no, it's my favorite. St. Patrick's Day Amerks, right? We got St. Patrick's Day coming up. How great do these colors look on this sweater? It's the best sweater in hockey. You know that, first of all.
I don't have any complaints with that. I would agree.
What a lukewarm endorsement of the sweater.
Well, see, my problem is that the white or the blue, or the red. I mean, there are people who like, one or the other. I kind of like the variety.
Why are you giving him the death stare? Why are you doing
just because, I want to like him, and he opens his mouth, and I just can't like him. I don't get it.
I guess my endorsement wasn't good enough. We'll start first.
He talks about how great the Amerks sweater is, and then it has a patch on it, promoting a radio show.
It's because I accidentally put a hole in it, so joke's on you.
I'd rather see the hole. Well, speaking of green, apparently this is no longer an issue. He got his green, one Mr. Aaron Rodgers. $200 million over the next 4 years, whatever it is. Can he shut up and just play football now?
Oh, boy, we can hope. We can hope. Can he win once?
Absolutely.
Again?
Yeah.
I mean, he gets to the playoffs, and it's a lot of money for a guy who isn't producing when it matters most, which is why you pay him.
$50 million a year. He is a back-to-back MVP, 4-time all in his career, but no Super Bowl rings in the last 10 years.
And that's what you pay him for. I mean, it's nice to win the North Division, but how hard is it? That's a bad division.
That's a Minnesota guy.
I mean, the Vikings are kind of okay sometimes. The Lions don't exist, and the Bears are really bad again. So, okay, they won the division.
No, listen, it's a really smart move if you're the general manager of the Packers to now eliminate 6 years of your future down the road to give a guy the most money in NFL history who scored a single offensive touchdown against the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs. Why are you doing this? Like, the guy's been a headache on and off the field, well, mostly off the field for you for the last year and a half. The ultimate heel turn, like in the history of professional sports. He said in both off seasons he doesn't want to be here anymore, right? By the way, how bad is he messing over Devontae Adams? He gets a guaranteed $155 million. The guy that he insists has to play with him has to play in the franchise tag in a position that has a much shorter high earning potential than quarterback does. Everything he says is complete BS. He don't care about the people around him. Greg Jennings, his former receiver, called him out on it last week. I can't stand this guy.
It's gone on, like you said, it's gone on for 2 years. Every summer it was, well, I don't know. And then other like ESPN, can you watch that morning show? It's the Aaron Rodgers Dallas Cowboys show. That's all they talk about. But 2 years of, I don't know if I'm coming back. I might come. It's, they killed soap operas on network TV. Aaron Rodgers brought it back.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
And it's top rated.
By the way, aren't wide receivers supposed to be the divas? Keyshawn Johnson writes a book while he's playing called Throw Me the Damn Ball, and here come Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers going, oh no, hold my ball. We'll show you how this gets done.
Meanwhile, a guy that doesn't really attract that much of attention, Russell Wilson gets the big deal. He moves from Seattle to Denver. Your thoughts on this move? But Denver really wanted Aaron Rodgers. Looks like they're going to have to settle for Wilson.
I think they needed a quarterback. They're in a position to threaten, I guess would be the word, but wouldn't Russell Wilson have been better off staying in the NFC? Yeah. Like, do you really want to go to the conference that has all the quarterbacks, except for Aaron Rodgers? Yeah. Because he'll get you to the playoffs.
But, I mean, for him, he was looking to get out of Seattle. He made he barked about it before, and then now settled down and now is in a new environment.
All right, here's what I don't understand, and maybe somebody smarter can explain it to me. I mean, unfortunately, you guys can't help me there, but you do this if you're the Broncos because of what the Rams did. They went all in on Matthew Stafford and they won a Super Bowl. Difference is the Rams had been in the Super Bowl within the 3 years previous. The Broncos have finished in fourth place in their division the last 2 years. I mean, the talent is on the roster fine, but is that a quarterback away from winning? Let's caveat that.
Every team is a quarterback away from winning.
I disagree strongly.
Really?
Strongly. But hold on, I do want to caveat. I also said that the Matthew Stafford deal was stupid and they won a Super Bowl ring. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, right?
And by the way, I don't know, Seattle got a lot out of this deal. I mean, my goodness, they can rebuild very quickly over the next 2 years.
I mean, what, 2 firsts, 2 seconds? You get a legitimate tight end in Noah Fant, a legitimate defensive tackle. Yeah, like, unless Denver goes and wins the Super Bowl. By the way, with a brand new coaching staff. Again, you mortgaged your future 3 years down the road, walking in the door. What?
Why'd you leave out Drew Lock, though?
I don't even think the Broncos realized they traded Drew Lock to Seattle.
We'll wait and see what happens. We'll go to the Buffalo Bills world coming up next. You're watching the Rochester Press Box. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. I'm Tariq Spence filling in for Bill Pucko. Buffalo Bills segment is brought to you by Ralph Honda. 3 generations of celebrating 50 years as New York's first and oldest Honda dealer. Visit Ralph Honda today and find out how we do Honda right. RalphHonda.com. All right, Buffalo Bills, couple of different things. Let's go to the in-house business. Cole Beasley, it's okay to request for a trade for him.
Yeah, I find it weird that there was a preemptive strike from Beasley. I mean, look, he knows what's coming. All the fans know what are coming, right? They're either going to have to release him, trade him, or ask him to take a pay cut. I assumed that Cole Beasley, based on his performance from the last year and a half, would be open to taking a pay cut to stay on this team to win a championship. Who's going to trade for a Cole Beasley $7.5 million contract? Nobody. If you want to play, and you want to play on a team that's got a legitimate chance to win, you take that cut. If you don't want to, I understand. Nobody else is giving you that money, right?
Plus, they're pretty deep at wide receiver, the Buffalo Bills.
Exactly. I mean, they're smart in letting him try to find that deal, and if you get it, okay, fine. We'll survive without.
Oh, well, we'll see. Will you be?
I just can't see the demand. Like you said.
I don't know who's going to take that deal either. But I mean, he has a right to seek it. They want to move on, and they're pretty deep at wide receiver. What about tight end? Rob Gronkowski's name has been brought up. We know Tom Brady is retired. Rob has not released that paperwork, and your face tells me no.
Well, okay, here's the thing. All right, first of all, you got everything that happened with Tre'Davious White when he dropped the people's elbow on him and cost him games, giving him a concussion, and then had the worst BS apology you've ever heard. My further concern, Kevin, you can attest to this, there is a point in a tight end's career where they just fall off. It's over, right? And you never see it coming. Like one game, they're out there playing, all of a sudden they never play well again. At what point does Rob Gronkowski hit that? And can Rob Gronkowski actually play football with someone that's not Tom Brady, who has to vocally tell him? You can YouTube this. There are times where Brady's been mic'd up where he had to tell Gronkowski, stand up, stand over here. Gronkowski has admitted he doesn't watch film or study the playbook. You want to bring that into your locker room with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott and a new offensive coordinator.
And you're right. I mean, when does that point of, okay, it's over, come for a guy who's been battered, beaten, and isn't exactly, sticking to the Tom Brady offseason diet.
And he's coming home, too. This is kind of like a bit of a homecoming.
It would be, in that regard, it's a great story. I mean, he was at Orchard Park or wherever till he was a sophomore in high school, maybe. So, I mean, the brother is from Western New York. Nice story, but
is it a good idea?
5 years late, maybe.
Okay, but is it a good idea to take a guy like Rob Gronkowski, a guy who had a cruise in his name where people could come out and he offered to a couple to have sex, $20,000 live in front of him? Again, that video exists. You want him home around all his friends that he grew up with for an entire season with all his millions of dollars? Is that a good idea? I'm just asking. I'm just thinking out loud here. Is that a good idea for that to happen?
If Robert Fitzpatrick can go out there with his shirt off, why can't Rob Gronkowski, maybe, I don't know.
I don't think Rob with all his, childhood friends is any different than Rob with his current friends in Foxborough, Boston, Tampa. I think you can have quite a bit of fun there, too.
Okay, that seems like some sort of answer. Let's get to the wrap up on that.
Or test pattern.
Not sure what Star Trek character actually speaks that way, but oh well. Let's go on to the stadium. It seems that the governor seems to be looking at the end of this month as a possibility to say the deal is done. Her term, nuts and bolts, need to be taken care of.
Yeah, I saw the big thing was the length of the lease, how long the Bills would be guaranteed to be in Western New York. I mean, look, you show me 30 years, state pays for 60% of the stadium. I mean, I think that's best case scenario right now, right?
And I mean, really, what they mean as far as, well, we've seen it the last couple of years, just what it does to the psyche of most people in Western New York and businesses and whatever it is. There's just a better vibe when the Bills are good and winning. Now, what happens when you have that big stadium and they're not winning? And that's not that far down the road because teams go through cycles, except the Patriots, and well, they kind of are now, but somehow they've avoided for 20 years that cycle of rebuilding. What happens then? It's December, and you know what? It's going to be hard to sell tickets when they're good in December, as it has been. But moving forward, there's that trepidation. But yet, would we be the only community that doesn't step up to the plate?
It's a lot of money, and a lot of money in this community. It's a blue-collar town. It'd be nice to see a nice community, maybe a little bit of a dome over the arena.
I don't want a dome, man.
You don't want a dome?
No, you're Western New York. Let's play ball. Come on.
What do you mean? The dome's been great for the Vikings. Look at all the
Like it or not, coming up next, you're watching the Rochester Press Box.
Here's the Press Box trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Travel season is right around the corner, and have I got some getaways for you. Hello again, Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy, with all my getaways on my next podcast and a free book giveaway. Go to thegetawayguy.com.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. Spence filling in for Bill Pucko. This segment, like it or not, is being brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law Firm. Attorneys with years of experience defending the accused. Don't go unprepared with less. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today. All right, Kevin, your thoughts here. Alexander Ovechkin, where do you rank him? Is he in your top three of NHL players of all time?
No. And the big three remain Howe, Gretzky, and Orr. But he is, without a question, within the top three goal scorers. And he might be, I can argue, yes, he's the greatest goal scorer of all time. You know what he's going to do. You know where he's going to do it from, and yet no one can defend it. The guy he has an amazing shot. And he does hit, too. I mean, there's more to his game than just scoring goals. But as a goal scorer, with the goalies today so much better, so more technically sound and scientifically sound and athletically sound than they were in other eras, you can say he's the best goal scorer of all time. So may not be, but I mean, he's top three.
Top three in goal scoring, but not all time. Your top three?
All right, so I'm with Gretzky. I'm with Howe. I hate Alexander Ovechkin, but I begrudgingly have to respect what Alexander Ovechkin does. Like, I understand why you keep Orr in there, not only for his talent, but because you want to keep a defenseman in there as well.
And not only that, he revolutionized the game.
100%. But if you don't feel the need to, end defenseman, I think that you might be able to toss up Orr and Ovechkin, because you can make the argument Ovechkin revolutionized the game as well. Like you said, look, my argument for years has been play box and one in that one spot when you play Ovechkin and just live with whatever the hell else happens. But look, find me another person where you knew exactly what they were going to do every time they stepped on the ice and you couldn't stop them. There's no other NHL hockey player we've seen like that before. Gretzky was successful because of all the bags of tricks that he had, right?
And I'm not degrading anything about his game, but he in Edmonton was surrounded by greatness.
Yes.
From Curry to Coffey to Messier to Anderson to, it was on and on and on.
And to that point, once we get 10 years away from Ovechkin's career, what is his surrounding cast going to look like as opposed to what Orr had, as opposed to what Gretzky had, as opposed to how even in Detroit, for goodness sake, all the numbers that still hang on the rafters in, what used to be Joe Louis Arena from the team that he played on. it's
You and these sounds.
Squeaky today, man.
I don't know what's going on here.
Why is he always here for breakfast? I love that commercial, even though it's, it's off the air right now. It's online, though.
Well, quickly before you go, I know it's a very serious topic. Brittney Griner right now being held in Russia, WNBA star. A lot of people are not happy with what the U.S. has done. Do you like it or not what the U.S. has done or done anything to get Brittney Griner home?
It's a really complicated situation, right? Like, she's making more money playing in Russia women's basketball than she was in the WNBA. And there's a lot of women that go over, play basketball that way. Look, the situation in Ukraine, right? How do you deal with what you're doing, aiding Ukraine while trying to open up negotiations with a government that you've also cut off from everything else that you're trying to do in a country? Look, this is terrible. I feel terrible. But that being said, what does Brittney Griner do 2 weeks into an attack in Ukraine, knowing what the situation was with Americans in there?
They were, that was time to come home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know what the answer is, because it is delicate negotiations, and Russia's going to hold firm.
Yeah. Well, they're looking to make a statement too in this situation as much as possible.
What card do they have to play right now, right? It's horrible. I'm horrified for this woman. But what can you do right now if you're the United States?
I tell you, it's sports. We hate to put political discussions in, but sometimes they just come straight to the forefront. You're watching the Rochester Press Box. Unfinished Business on the way next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
Came now to Eichel. He floated one.
Unfinished Business is brought to you by Greg the Roofer. Greg will meet or beat any competitor's price and can finance you with zero down. Call today or visit gregtheroofer.com. Better roof, better price. Better call Greg today.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box Unfinished Business, and of course, Pat Duffy fires off first.
The Bills are bringing training camp back to Rochester this offseason for the first time in 2 years, and I'm going to be honest, I'm very surprised by it. Don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled that it's happening. It's great to have an actual good Bills team in our backyard here, because don't forget, in '99, the drought started as soon as the Bills showed up at St. John Fisher, and they only had 1 year where they made the playoffs, where they came back the year after. There was that ridiculous overtime loss to the Texans the first year that Josh Allen made the playoffs. Here's what I don't understand. Why? Because there's no need for the Bills to come back to Rochester. I mean, the advertisers that used to be here in Kodak and Xerox and the Democrat and Chronicle, they're not going to throw money at them like they used to anymore. And everyone else in the NFL is moving towards keeping camp at home. And, the Pagulas just put tens of millions of dollars into a facility to make it state-of-the-art, revolutionary in the NFL. There's no need for them to come back to Rochester, which is why I think I like it even more. Look, they only signed a 1-year deal, so this could be it forever and ever and ever. And we've had a good run here in Rochester. We can't be upset if they leave. If this is a goodbye, a swan song, this is what you deserve for having to put up with all of the drought years of training camp and watch Matt Castle compete with E.J. Manuel for a starting job, I'm okay with that. And I'm happy letting them walk away just so I get to get that close to superstars finally on a Bills roster.
How awesome is it that at 10:30 on a Wednesday morning, kids can go down and be right from me to you from Josh Allen.
Awesome.
One of the greatest players in the NFL right now.
Why are you bringing up all the other ones? Never mind. I'll just leave it alone. Go ahead.
We had a little history made this week when Damani Barley, East High School basketball star, signed a name, image, likeness contract with Salvatore's. That's right, a high school player is going to make a little money on the side for being really good at basketball. He's also a pretty good student. So this all plays into the name, image, likeness deal that came down with the NCAA and all amateur sports that allows players to make a little money instead of just the colleges as it used to be or whoever it may be. Now he can't use his East High School jersey, he can't use the high school, but it's just him. And it's a chance to put a little money in your pocket and brand yourself, which isn't a bad deal considering it's happening before, so why not make a little money? And Salvatore, smart enough to jump on the bandwagon and take advantage of the same thing.
I know what you're going to do. You're going to sit there on Sunday, Selection Sunday for the NCAA tournament, hope that maybe your team gets in by some miracle, even though you haven't watched the game all year. Let's be honest. We don't really watch a lot of college basketball. It's just like a little spring fling. It's over as soon as the tournament's over. Matter of fact, quickly, who won last year? Didn't stay Baylor? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Nobody remembers who won then, or Virginia, or the fact that Villanova's won a couple of championships themselves, or the fact that North Carolina did a couple years ago as well. That's my point. The NCAA tournament is just there for the moment. Let the kids play, enjoy the moment. There'll be some school that will take a trip to the Sweet 16s, sell all the revenue and all the merchandise, and never be heard from again 3 years from now. It is exactly what it is. It is a spring fling of sports. Don't fill out a bracket. You didn't watch any college basketball. You might as well just get a computer fill it out for you. Or maybe somebody in your family that's 5 or 6 years old that has good handwriting. It doesn't even matter. You're only going to watch it for the buzzer beaters, the moments you'll just call into work on Thursday and Friday and enjoy the games for what they are. Exactly the sports fling of the spring. That's this week's Rochester's Press Box. Of course, Kevin, thank you for the time as always.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, as always. And Duffy, we're going to keep this clean for the next couple of days for St. Patrick's Day.
So here's the thing. I've never actually washed this jersey. I've had it 6 years. I'm afraid to because it's an authentic jersey, Kevin. It's got the...
Have you seen how hockey teams do laundry?
No.
It'll be fine.
He's never washed the jersey. How long have you had it?
6 years? 7 years?
Bill Pucko will be back hosting next week on the Rochester Press Box.